Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Walton. These will be my first impressions of Rage 2. And, oh boy. Right. Well, first things first, this isn't exactly Rage. I've played the original Rage multiple times. I played it when it was initially released. I've played it recently. However, I've never really gotten around to finishing the entire game. I got to around, I don't know, maybe 70% completion once and 50% completion recently. And I love that game, I really, really do. For those of you that haven't played Rage, you might not get what it is from just looking at the screenshots or a couple of videos, because it may look deceptively similar to something like this. Well, it looks deceptively similar to Rage 2. Yeah, we'll talk about that, we'll get to it. Rage was a survival game as much as it was a shooter, especially on the higher difficulties. On the lower difficulties, not so much. You could get away with a lot of things, but on higher difficulties, ammo was extremely scarce, and so were pretty much all other supplies. Medicine, grenades, equipment that you needed to unlock various things, or, you know, so on and so forth. It was all finite, and money was finite as well. And you used money to buy, you know, different things like upgrades for your vehicles, for your suit, for so, you know, on and on, basically. All of these things are not exactly in Rage 2. Yeah. Rage 2 is more along the lines of Borderlands meets Destiny meets Rage, in that it's set in the same universe, but gone is the serious tone of Rage 1. Gone is the survival aspect of it, and it is replaced with something different. Not necessarily better or worse, but different. Now, make no mistake, the original Rage had a bit of an identity crisis. The game started very seriously, with some people doing pretty messed up things, and you helping a bunch of villagers that were innocent and honestly a little bit too weak to defend themselves, and then would continue on a lighter note. You would meet wacky characters, comic relief characters, you would go to a carnival full of mutants of various sizes and proportions and abilities, and for the entertainment of others, you would shoot them. And then you would go back to serious things, as like death and, you know, fighting for the survival and dignity, if you will, of your allies and those around you, and it would go on and on like this. Back and forth, basically, quite a bit. However, overall, the game had a relatively slow feel to it, even though it could be a fast-paced shooter, but due to the entire survival elements, the brutality of the combat, and the ammunition situation, the game was relatively slow and fast at the same time. Point being, you could sort of mix the two, and in certain situations where you would fight a mini-boss, the combat would get very quick all of a sudden, where you would jump from one thing to the next, seeking cover and using up all your resources to defend yourself. Whereas in other situations, you might want to take it slow and make every shot count and so on. However, here, it's pretty much gone to one end of the spectrum without latching on to the other, basically. Alright, so we have a tutorial here. Well, this is, by the way, the very, very early stages of Rage 2, so I won't spoil much for you, but the story is also kind of gone. I mean, it's replaced with a very basic storyline of General Cross, the head of the Authority, is evil because he wants to kill everyone, and he just killed your mother, which is basically the first 5 minutes of the game. Well, you're not really your mother, you don't know your mother, but this person adopted you. Alright, so we dash. Fine, I've learned how to... Oh, really? You're gonna do the trope of do it 3 times before you learn how to do it? Ah. Alright, whatever. Yeah, this game, however, is, like I said, very much not like the, What am I dashing to avoid? Come on, hit me. Come on, hit me. I don't want to embarrass myself, so I actually want to dodge these, if at all possible. Okay. Could you stop bombarding me with exposition for a second? So yeah, I was hoping, and I was expecting when I saw the announcement trailers, and that this would be sort of, yes, a little bit more on the fast-paced and wacky side, but would retain at least some of the seriousness and methodical approach of the first game. Not so much. Not so much. Now, does it make it worse? Well, not really. It makes it different. It makes it different, and it makes it a little bit unexpected. And I think a lot of people are gonna come across that. But the game has other issues. Namely, the biggest one I've noticed so far, other than the occasional glitch of, well, it's okay. It's a little bit glitchy. So far, and this is like literally like a couple of hours after it was released to the public, the game's glitchy. Like, in terms of the graphics, in terms of ragdolling, in terms of... Yeah, I've noticed a fair few glitches. However, it has one bigger problem that I find just completely unforgivable. It's missing voice acting. I'm sure the voice acting files are somewhere in there, but they fail to play. And this happens with stupid regularity. Now, here's the thing. I'm basically counting on this being fixed within the next few days. But the fact that it released with this... Wow. It is really... I mean, it glitched out 3 or 4 times in the first 15 minutes of me playing the game. And that I kind of fail to understand, to be brutally honest with you. But alright. Here I'm being bombarded with exposition now, pretty much explaining to me quite literally every character in the game, which, honestly, I would prefer to go and meet them myself than do it here, but, yeah, if you want to continue game, then feel free to do it. I suppose you have to send me in the general direction, so, alright. Off I go, then. I said off I go, then. I've also noticed the screen flicker. Now, I'm playing... Like, I played most of my games, pretty much all of them, with VSync turned off, for several in-depth reasons that I will not go into right now, but I do tend to record them with VSync. Now, I wanted to record this one without VSync, because... well, okay, no, I didn't. I forgot to turn it back on, but I saw the screen flickers every now and again. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I can, and it's kind of weird, honestly. However, I've focused quite a bit on the negative sides of the game, which usually you start off with the positives. That's sort of like an unwritten rule, I suppose, in criticism. Thing is, though, let's now focus on the good things. The game's bloody gorgeous, right? The game is bloody gorgeous for multiple reasons. First of all, the graphical fidelity is satisfying. And look at that. That's pretty satisfying. The lighting is also really good. The colours feel like... They feel just right. They really do. They feel just right, and it creates a sort of very nice atmosphere, very pleasant atmosphere to play around in. The original Rage did quite the opposite. No. The original Rage was a wasteland. And it makes sense from a story perspective that now things, some time has passed and now things will have changed a little bit now. And, yeah, that's a good thing. That really is a good thing. But instead of the old, grey, monotonous, dull tone of wherever you go, now we have very, very vibrant colours in comparison. So eventually I'm going to figure out where I'm supposed to go to meet Lily, but until I do... Is there a local map? No, then this map is not very useful. I get the feeling the game's trying to get me to go over that, but probably not an option. I can't go in there. I can maybe go around. I don't know. Potentially. No. Go around, potentially? I'll figure it out eventually. Well, let's try again. Also, the thing that contributes a lot to the very colourful and pleasant aesthetic to play in is the verticality. Rage had an okay amount of verticality. You know, some of the cities were built up vertically. Sometimes you would go up mountains. You would go up skyscrapers as well, climbing them as you go along from the bottom up. But not to this extent. The game is completely open world, as was Rage to an extent, though it did have quite a lot of sort of like dungeony areas. It wasn't really open world. You would sort of move from one dungeon to the next. This one is a lot more open world, in the traditional sense, and it has a lot more verticality like that. And here's the thing, even if you can't go up there, which I believe you can, but even if you can't scale every single thing that comes to mind... Can I just reset my complete progress of what I was gonna... No, there's a ladder here, thankfully. Yeah, it looks like we can go... No, I've been here. I'm lost. Like, it's the first half an hour of the game and I'm lost. Alright, never mind, found it. Turns out I'm just an idiot and want to go back to the same way I came from. Anyways, it adds a lot to the aesthetic, and it's honestly, I mean, it's just pretty to look at. I mean, fighting underneath a huge towering building, or hell, even some of the enemies contribute to the verticality, in that, yes, you will be fighting giants, which was a thing in Rage 2, but not to that extent. Occasionally, a big brutish enemy would come up, but mostly you'll be fighting mutants or, you know, humanoid-type enemies. Here, okay, I thought that was a crash. The enemy variety went, yeah, it went up a little bit. So we can upgrade... Unlocks the vehicle menu and the Phoenix. Alright. We have the Phoenix. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. Alright. So, visually, game's great. Far more important than visually, though, the core and crux of the gameplay. The very basic foundation upon which everything is built, from the visuals, to the story, to the characters, to the more wacky themes, which I don't necessarily love, but don't exactly dislike either, personally. The shooting. The shooting is amazing. For the shooting alone, I think this game is worth a pickup. At full price, I don't know. I would wait at the very least for them to fix the voice acting thing, because it's annoying me to high hell. Oh, we have limited ammo on these. Alright, let's not waste it then. But for the shooting alone, this game is worth it. 2 games I've played in the last, let's say, 5 to maybe even 6 years that have been this satisfying when it comes to just shooting someone in the face with bullets. Doom and this one. Borderlands was satisfying as all hell, don't get me wrong. Sniper Elite was pretty satisfying too, and there were others as well. I mean, there were a ton of satisfying shooter games out there that I did get the opportunity to play, but this one towers above them. Doom does as well. So this is like, I would say that this is Doom level satisfying. If there are a few others, feel free to let me know now in the comments below which ones are your favourites. But for me, these 2 make the list of the last 5 or 6 years. And yeah, are you my enemy? Are you my mummy? Oh, for crying out loud! All right. I just stopped them from getting in the vehicle, honestly. Ended up losing half my health. Alright. Trader roaming. Found roaming the roads. The roaming trader offers a large variety of goods you can buy from. Or I can also sell my junk to him. Lovely. Can I enter the... Oh, I can. Oh. This is an interesting vehicle. I would rather not, honestly. Hello, Mr. Vendor. What do you have for me? Assault rifle rounds. Dirt cheap, honestly. High velocity Gatling rounds. Autocannon AP shells, AP cruise missiles. Jesus! Alright, tell you what. I don't have any money to buy anything from you, but I did want to, Hallelujah! 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 Alright. Hi, you wouldn't believe what just happened. What's this? Auto parts. Used to purchase art vehicle upgrades. I shall take one, and that's about everything I'll take. I'll count on getting ammunition and then the rest of the stuff from my enemies. So, right. These autocannons are terrible, though. And those people back there are still alive, believe it or not. Alright, we're going the wrong way. But that means we do get to finish them off. Now, like I said, shooting cannot praise it enough. The story, however, has been somewhat, let's say, butchered. Well, no, it hasn't been butchered, but it's been reduced. And the basic idea of the story, like I've already said, is given to you in the first few minutes of the game, and maybe it's just me, and this is a first impressions video, so make of it what you will. Maybe, you know, an hour or 7 later, I won't have this feeling anymore. But so far, to me, it feels like a little bit off. I'll try and explain what I mean by that. What feels a little bit off? Everything in terms of the narration and the story and the general attitude of the characters and all of that, it seems a little bit off-putting. Especially when I remember some of the more grim moments of Rage, which by no means was a serious, dark game whatsoever. It was a fun shooter is what it was. But this just has taken back all of the sort of serious elements of it, of Rage, and replaced them with gore, and they've just amplified the comedic elements of it a little bit. The game just feels a lot more cartoony, I think, in one word, than Rage did. And that just feels a little bit off. And the cartoony nature of the dialogue and everything else, combined with what the hell am I... I just went back to exactly where I was. That's... Okay, like this, if you want to make a compilation of the stupidest thing I've ever done on the channel, I think this goes up there pretty much. At any rate, sorry about that. I think this was like the objective for some reason. Never mind. Let's go that way, because that one's the closest. Point being, along with the vibrant colours and the sort of cartoony attitude of most of the characters, it feels a little bit wrong, and it feels a little bit off, especially coming from Rage. But I can also very, very clearly and appealingly see the other direction that this could take. If you haven't played Rage, and you have no idea what I'm talking about, then maybe, I don't know, I dare say that your road chokes are trade collection roadblocks that have been taken over. Clear outposts and raise the blockers.
Yep, you should see if you can clear that clog up.
Right, hi. How many of those health transfusions do I have? They are rather limited. Alright, Jesus. Alright, remind me to never do this ever again. Right, this is overdrive mode. During overdrive mode, you, I think, deal more damage. Time slows down. I have a theory that time slows down a little bit. Maybe that's just because of the colours. But, you also regenerate health, and you're a little bit more of a badass during it. There's also upgrades you can get late down the line for it, I'm pretty sure. Alright, we've raised that. I can press this button. What does this button do? Cool. We getting money from that? Huh. Magically, money is just put into my pockets for doing that.
Roadblocks blocking days are over. All clear.
Yeah, the Coalition's gonna love that.
Well, I don't particularly care whether the Coalition's going to like that or not. It was in my way. Now, is there anything... Ooh. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, using our mighty hacking abilities, we shall find... Wait, it was said that this highlighted objects, maybe it doesn't anymore because I got hit in the head quite a bit. Maybe that damaged the armor and I need to repair it, probably, because I don't see it highlighting much. Oh well, either which way. The freedom of movement is quite nice as well, which was definitely lacking in the first game, but again, that came out quite a while ago. But yeah, like the ability to just jump from place to place, quite useful. Yeah, but yeah, like that.
Walker, Dr.
Was it
Columbus.
so interesting? Vehicle combat. Yeah, Q to switch between weapons. I have different weapons. No, I don't. I do not have different weapons. All right, handbrake turn. Handbrake turn. Alright, we'll leave you. That was a thing. Alright, you're dead. Right, where's your friends? Or did I get those as well? Yep, got them all. Okay. No, there's one more. No, there's more than one more. Oh, for crying out loud! You're staying constantly in my blind spot. It's annoying little living Christ out of me. There you go. Sit yourself down. Okay. What is this?
Good luck out there.
Yeah, you know when I mentioned glitchy? Yeah. So ultimately, we are now left with a bit of a conundrum. Right. We have a game that is infinitely fun to shoot people in, has quite a bit of content, is open world, and is generally just fun. Doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's fun to go around shooting people with it, and has great visuals, honestly. I mean, look at that thing. So yeah, like that alone is great.
So, there's a big tower just standing here.
Stand
It's
back.
got authority written all over it.
Sounds like a sentry tower. Leftovers from the war.
It just one-shot me. The tower just... I mean, I don't know what I thought would happen when it powered up its giant friggin' laser. But it just one-shot me. Alright, let's try and hurt it with this.
Weapon overheated. Come back soon, Walker.
Alright.
I wish it.
Repair. If the Phoenix takes critical damage, you need to exit and repair it at the front using focus.
Stay with you, but this girl needs some shut-eye. I'm checking into the clinic. Wait for me. Partial integrity restored. Systems regenerating.
Okay, and there's no particular reason why this should
And feeling good.
cost anything, right? Okay. Honestly, this seems a little bit too easy. Like, all this is taking up our resources. Oh. Okay, yeah, it's grown a pair now. Okay. Oh god, that's horrible. Yippee-ki-yay, apparently, I don't know. Okay, listen for the sound. I find that it's best to dodge it by jumping forwards rather than backwards. Alright, once again. Jesus Christ, that was right on me. Alright, yeah, never mind. Apparently the first half of it is just a pushover, and the other half is, oh god, run. I should clarify, I am playing on hard. It's not the hardest difficulty, but... Yeah, Nightmare is the hardest one, but it is second to hardest.
I wish I could stay with you, but this girl...
Yeah. Shoot.
If you're going to do any kind of body work, you do it from the front.
Oh god, that... Why is my car flirting with me? There's a slight issue in what's happening here. In the... Oh. Okay, let's use another health transfusion.
Initiate manual repairs at the front.
I need to shut up for a second. If I stand any hope of defeating this thing. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. So, on to the main course of the video. We have before us a game that's very fun in terms of its shooting, and that's the core aspect of it, right? And I'm not gonna lie, that fight, very fun. The fact, as much of a gimmick and a trope as it might seem, the entire jump thing, it engages you far more than just ducking and sitting behind a vent as I did for the entire fight. Instead, I sat behind the vent for half the fight, which, hey, you know, there you go. Makes it 50% more fun, in my opinion. So yeah, it really is. Like, the core gameplay of it, which is the go run around shoot things, is phenomenal. One of the greatest in recent times. And yet again, it's glitchy. It has its problems. And now, if you were to ask me, do I recommend the game, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what I kinda do. I recommend it after a couple of patches, but look at this. Okay, now it won't happen, but the lighting as well. It feels like it needed a month or two of just polishing. It really does. It feels like it needed a couple of months more of pure, unadulterated polishing. And after that, after the said months have passed, we would have had a game that I could have recommended to you without any, you know, hint or trace of guilt. The way it is, I still am going to recommend it, because, first of all, there is a ton of content in it. Second of all, it's worth to suffer through almost most of the bugs and everything, just so you can experience the glory that is the satisfying shooting element of this game. It is practically worth it. Furthermore, for all its problems, it's not actually that prevalent all the time, as in, like, the voice acting, like I said, pretty much ruins most of the cutscenes when it happens, but I'm assuming that'll be fixed very, very soon. As far as everything else is concerned, it doesn't necessarily ruin the experience that much, as in it doesn't stop you from having fun. And ultimately, we go down to one simple truth of gaming in general, and that is that you're here to have fun. This is, for the most part, though almost certainly, and I will argue this to my death, not exclusively, but for a large part, escapism. Right? You come here to have fun, and this game has spades of it. It is by far one of the most fun shooters I've played, in terms of just pure fun and enjoyment, I've played for quite a while. Again, I compare it to Doom heavily, and I think if you go in with the expectations that what you're going to find is a slightly more wastelandish, minus the demons, but instead you have the authority version of Doom, that this is, if this is the sort of the expectations that you set for yourselves, then I think you're going to enjoy this game quite a lot and have a lot of fun with it. Hey guys, I wanted to add a little bit of an interjection here between everything. I'm adding this in post-editing. I'm adding this in post. Something just occurred to me. This is like a couple of hours after I've recorded the video, or recorded the vast majority of the video. I've been playing this game basically like this. The same way I would play something like Call of Duty or any type of multiplayer shooter. Like, I remember playing Black Squad for quite a bit, semi-recently, and that's, I'd blaze some trashy music in the background, not really pay much attention to what's going on story-wise or what's going on really at all on the screen, and just have fun that way, and shooting stuff that popped up. I understand that most of these games are multiplayer and there isn't a story to pay attention to, but you know what I mean. Like, that's sort of generally how I play not story-based shooters, and that's how I've been playing this one. And I've got to say, I've also been, like, in the few interim hours between now and when I've recorded the rest of the video, I've also been taking a look at some of the Steam reviews from various people that have purchased the game and are recommending it or not. And it's, you know, I haven't said anything new. I pretty much, what I've said in the video is like a compilation, as I've figured out, of what some of those people are saying, more or less. But I got to recommend. I know I said I already recommend it, but like a few hours later, I still kind of do, because it's just fun, right? For no other reason than that, it's just a ton of fun, and yeah, so I just want to reaffirm that a little bit with this addition in post. Anyways, back to Juggernaut from the past. If that makes sense. But yeah, other than that, I think I've pretty much covered the very basics of it, and so ultimately, I do recommend it. A little bit... Wait, Authority Sentry, did I not just kill it? Please don't tell me it respawned. That would make a little bit of sense. No? No, it did not. Okay. Let's go and fix up our ride, and I'm going to play a bunch more of this, but at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this video, and tell me what you think about the game so far if you had the chance to pick it up, or you know, from what you've seen. Do you appreciate, or do you prefer? Do you appreciate the fact that it went the road that it did with the story and everything, or would you prefer a more traditional approach in that a more true to the original sequel? I don't know. I think I would have preferred a more true to the original sequel, as I said, but I don't dislike the game for what it is either. So yeah, I sort of dodged the question a little bit. Here's the thing, I like playing this game, and it's fun, but I also would like a Rage that's more true to the original, honestly. So, I don't know what to tell you. Sort of like, if we can have both, that'd be great. But, yeah. So far we have this, and, yeah, like I said, I recommend it. It has its problems, but, ultimately it's just very, very fun, and, at the end of the day, that's not all that matters, but that's kind of all that matters. My name's been Juggernaut. Like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed, and tell me if you want to see more of this on the channel. Until next time, have fun, take care, and bye-bye.